Hello everyone. Thank you for attending today's webinar. My name is Evelyn Kane and I'm Manager of Intergovernmental Relations and Policy in Local Government Victoria, and with me is Jenny Marie Kardaris, Policy Analyst, Local Government Victoria. We will be taking you through key elements of the Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Program. Firstly, an outline of today's presentation. We'll be covering background to the program, its objectives, key steps in the program, timelines for implementation, and resources available to support you in delivery. The Listen, Learn and Lead strategy. The focus on gender equity in local government forms an important action item in the Ministerial Statement on Local Government. A number of Victorian councils have demonstrated strong leadership in advancing gender equity and diversity in their organisations and local communities. These councils are willing to share their insights and learnings with the rest of the sector about what actions are working to address gender and diversity inequality within their own organisations. The Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Program is based on elements of the successful Male Champions of Change program. And that program is a disruptive initiative focused on men stepping up beside women and taking accountability for progressing women in leadership. It includes the themes of stepping up as leaders, creating accountability, disrupting the status quo, and dismantling barriers. The Male Champions of Change program is now a coalition of over 100 CEOs, department heads, and non-executive directors from across business and government. So the program objectives. Basically, the program is designed to develop a deeper level of insight into the barriers to gender equity that need to be tackled within councils, to inform the development or enhancement of gender equity actions, and importantly, to share learnings and insights and identify opportunities for sector-wide actions where combining efforts will lead to a greater impact. The Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Program requires Council Chief Executive Officers to demonstrate a strong commitment and personal engagement so that they develop a deep understanding of the personal experiences of staff and the impacts of gender inequality on both women and men in their organisations. Here you'll see the cover of the Ministerial Statement on Local Government, which was developed in 2015, and the Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Program Guide. So how does the Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Program work? Councils are at varying levels of maturity in addressing gender equity and diversity in their organisations and community. The program can be tailored and scalable to an individual council's current position. All councils are invited to participate in the program, which includes the program workshop, the program guide that includes supportive tools and templates, and access to a Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Program network of Chief Executive Officers to enable peers to share learnings and insights. Local Government Victoria will also be available to provide guidance for participating council CEOs to support the program's focus group sessions. The program Gantt chart outlines the 11 steps, which would be completed ideally over a 13-week period. We envisage that Most councils would be commencing the program in early July and completing it by the end of November. Of course, there is flexibility in these timelines, and some stages may take a bit longer to complete. But by having all participants roughly on the same timeline, it enables learnings and progress to be shared. I'll now hand over to Jenny Marie, who will take you through these 11 steps in detail.
Thank you, Evelyn. The Listen, Learn and Lead process involves Chief Executive Officers of local government to demonstrate a strong commitment and personal engagement to develop a deep understanding of the personal experiences of staff and the impacts gender inequality has on women in their organisation. It also provides an opportunity to apply a CEO lens to issues that have otherwise often proven intractable to solve. Step 1. Identify a Listen, Learn and Lead coordinator. Participating council CEOs should nominate a staff member who is considered an emerging leader within the organisation to undertake the role of the Listen, Learn and Lead coordinator. It is recommended that women or men who are trusted, considered an informal leader, and enjoy credibility across the organisation are considered for the role. The role of the Listen, Learn and Lead coordinator is to work with Chief Executive Officers to manage and coordinate focus group sessions and promote the sessions to staff with support from Local Government Victoria. Step 2. Attend the Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Introductory Workshop. CEOs and their nominated Listen, Learn and Lead coordinators attend the workshop and are guided through the program and the supporting materials. Step 3. Communicate key messages of the program to staff. Local Government Victoria will provide councils with the key messages of the Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity program and the broader gender equity focus in local government. Local Government Victoria will also provide councils with suggestions on how to communicate these messages to staff, so there is a deeper understanding of the barriers and opportunities to address gender inequality. It is important that there is a consistent set of messages about the purpose and objectives of the program in local government. The key messages of gender equity and local government, the program and its objectives, the Listen, Learn and Lead process can be found on page 10 of the guide. And here's an example of the key messages on page 9 of the guide there. Step 4. Select focus group participants. So focus groups should include the following 3 cohorts: senior women, emerging women, and senior leadership women. The senior women cohort will enable CEOs to better understand the conditions and the cultural factors, internal and external, that they believe have enabled them to advance or thrive, and the barriers that have held them back. The emerging women cohort will enable CEOs to better understand their aspirations, how they differ from women who hold senior positions, and the conditions and cultural factors, internal and external, that they believe will support their future success. The senior leadership women cohort will enable CEOs to better understand their view on what more could be done to increase representation of women in leadership roles in local government. It is open to you to expand on the cohort groups and run a session for senior leadership men or women, or a combined session for senior leadership men and women. It is suggested that a maximum number of 20 participants is recommended for each focus group session. To capture diverse views and ensure robust conversations around the questions posed in the focus group, It is important that these sessions include participants from different age groups, backgrounds, job functions, and those with and without carer responsibilities. Step 5. Run, listen, learn and lead sessions. The Chief Executive Officer will facilitate, at a minimum, 90-minute focus group session for a maximum of 20 participants. And the Listen and Learn and Lead Coordinator will scribe and support the Chief Executive Officer. As the sessions encourage staff to engage in an open conversation directly with the Chief Executive Officer, staff must feel comfortable to challenge the status quo and voice their ideas. It is therefore strongly recommended that no other support staff attend the sessions. To ensure that a safe space is created for staff members to have an honest and open conversation, it is important that Chief Executive Officers and the coordinators reassure participants that the focus group sessions provide a unique opportunity to deeply and actively listen to staff members' experiences, thoughts and suggestions without challenge or attempts to solve issues raised in the session. The focus group sessions are an opportunity for the Chief Executive Officer to listen to staff and learn from them. The choice of location for focus group sessions should be considered carefully. Neutral locations that will facilitate open and frank discussions should be given a high priority. A roundtable setup may be more conducive to facilitating an open and honest and robust conversation than a theatre-rette style setup. So the questions asked across each group include: what conditions and cultures have enabled performance, development, progress, and the ability to thrive in the organisation? What policies and or practices have supported advancement in the organisation? Are there any barriers that have impeded advancement in the organisation? What two changes could make the most significant difference in advancing more women into leadership positions in the organisation? There is, however, two specific questions, one for the emerging women cohort. Do you have role models in the organisation? If so, why? If not, what would a role model look like? And specifically for senior leadership women, thinking about your leadership in the organisation, do you believe that you have a role model to your emerging women? Step 6, collate feedback from sessions. The Listen, Learn and Lead Coordinator will collate feedback from the focus group sessions by actively listening and completing the summary feedback template for each sessions for each of the 3 cohorts, noting the culture, conditions, policies and practices that support women's advancement, barriers in the organisation to women's advancement, and ideas for change to advance more women into leadership roles. The summary feedback template is at attachment 2 in the guide. The feedback from the sessions can be used to inform the development or enhancement of the Council's Gender Equity Plan. The Chief Executive Officer should also use feedback from sessions to directly communicate with participants and Council staff broadly about his or her reflections, key themes and proposed actions, either through an email or via a reflective session for all focus group participants. Step 7. Submit feedback to Local Government Victoria. It is suggested that the Listen, Learn and Lead Coordinator submits their completed summary feedback template to Local Government Victoria. Local Government Victoria will synthesise the information from the summary feedback templates received, share de-identified learnings and insights with the sector, and identified sector-wide strategies where a combined effort will have a greater positive impact in advancing gender equity. And here is an example of the summary feedback template. Step 8. Submit feedback to the leadership team. The Chief Executive Officer and the Listen, Learn and Lead Coordinator should report to Council's leadership team on the de-identified key themes, issues and comments that arose from all the focus group sessions. Step 9. Identify actions and agreed next steps. The Chief Executive Officer and the Listen, Learn and Lead Coordinator will summarise, share learnings and identify actions to implement in their organisation. Step 10. Develop and implement a Gender Equity Action Plan. The Chief Executive Officer and the Listen and Learn and Lead Coordinator will either enhance an existing or develop a new Gender Equity Action Plan, including actions to be implemented. Step 11. Monitor and report on the progress of agreed actions. The Chief Executive Officer and the Listen, Learn and Lead Coordinator should monitor and report on the progress of the agreed Gender Equity Action Plans.
This last slide will show you the resources that are available to support you in the delivery of the program. Further information is available at the following website link, and within that link you'll see the Local Government Listen, Learn and Lead Gender Equity Guide, the Listen, Learn and Lead Timelines Chart, a webinar of this presentation, and details of the Yammer network to which you will be invited. You will also be asked to participate in a short survey about your experience at the conclusion of the program, which is available at this link. That brings us to the conclusion of the webinar. Thank you very much for attending.